Can you give me your interpretation of what the Galactic Federation is and what its mission is?
Yes, of course. Now, as you understand, in all terms expressed through your English language by entities upon the Earth Collective, there are multitudes of energies that encompass almost every single word or ideal within the Earth Collective. For example, in your terms, there are the Galactic Federation. There are also the Galactic Federation of Light, and there are also Galactic Council. In our perspective, there is construct around the energy that is called the Galactic Council, and what it is a great deal of entities from a multitude of different races in the Type 1 entity environment that co-create with one another in order to assure as much help and energy to lend out to the entirety of the galactic collective consciousness without placing interference. Then you have the construct of what you call the Galactic Federation. This construct is a multitude of different entities and races working in several different subcategoric groups. For instance, many that your entities upon Earth call the Galactic Federation of Light. These are many different forms and beings of entities that are type 2 all the way from semi-benevolent to malevolent that have worked in the construct of telepathy in order to give information that is not always accurate or correct to other humans in order to guide them away from finding their own energy. There are also dead human beings who are not incarnated into a physical body who also work telepathically with Earth humans in order to connect to constructs in telepathy as a joke from their own perspective. Yet there are those that are embarked within similar constructs that call themselves galactic federations that are comprised of benevolent, highly benevolent, and type 1 beings who work either directly or indirectly with humans in order to access information, understanding, and even for those that are type 2 and benevolent, often physical interventions in the Earth co-created collective in order to avoid catastrophes such as nuclear wars, etc. So in all of those spectrums, there are multiple sections, factors, and co-created collective versions that work not only with human beings, but across the entirety of the galaxy. Each is fueled by their own beliefs, by their own desires, and create their own customs in order to exchange that energy and information. Now, when it comes to the specific energy in which you are speaking more so as a collective conscious version of multiple entities, multiple races, all working together for the benefit of human co-created collective. And in our perspective, this has no true name to encompass it, but it does carry a vibration of healing, understanding, and love.
I see. So how is the organizational structure of the Galactic Federation set up? Like, for example, does it have one leader, and are there things like a Senate or Parliament or committees?
Yes, now when you are speaking of the Galactic Council version, there are only groups who are representative heads of their planetary or solar system collective consciousnesses. Those entities did not appoint themselves nor were appointed by small groups. The entire planet or the entire collective consciousness guided them, with their excitement being in helping give that planetary consciousness a voice, and that entity accepting the role, responsibility, job of that energy. That being then steps into all of the other heads of those that are planetary or even solar system and work together. There are no rules, regulations, or ideals that become concrete, only a networking of energetic desire to help others. That co-creation becomes stronger because there are multiple forces working for the same ideal. Therefore, more entities, more manifestation abilities.
So is there currently a single leader of the Galactic Federation?
Yes, now when you are speaking of that construct again, there are so many different factions or fractions. For instance, there are beings that work with a great construct. They themselves call two Earth beings the Galactic Federation, under those guises, there are multiple beings at the head of their own specific departmental energy, but they also work with draconian beings, and the draconian being who is the entire leader of the draconian consciousness has all say over all things. There is another construct that works with humans from Pleiadian type 2, Sirian type 2, Andromedan, and Arcturian energies. All of those co-creators come together and there is no leader. There is only the setup of what we've expressed previously, with those that are most understanding in the part of their own construct stepping forward to offer guidance and support. So in that area, all of the different fractions and all of the different federations can have their own leader, but the majority of those who are working for the betterment of understanding and working with human beings offer no one role leadership departments, only a co-created council of elders or those who are in excitement to work with humans, and they distribute their own energy according to what they perceive is best for the co-creation.
Right, right. I see. Okay, now the United Nations, of course, has a series of buildings for its headquarters. Does the Federation have any similar thing, like a main headquarters building? And if so, what does it look like?
Yes, there are some of those energies that do hold head departments or councils that co-create meeting places. For instance, those that we have spoken of that hold elders to the top of their own construct and give a voice for the collective. Those entities meet in different planetary versions. For instance, often they co-create in the Sirian construct, in the solar system of Sirius, and there is one planet that inhabits Sirius A, where all races from around the galaxy come to meet. And on that planetary conscious, there is one large building dedicated for the co-creation of those. In Arcturus, it is quite different. When they are all meeting in that region, they are co-creating in their own crafts or spaceships, and will often go from spaceship to spaceship or building to building for the councilmen or members that are of elder nature to speak with one another. So it is different in that form. For those that are of the Galactic Federation, that is more malevolent or does not help humans, those are all dictated directly in draconian constructs. And with those beings and greys, they often meet on one of 7 motherships of draconian beings, the largest ships that hold millions of the beings and are in the center of each of those motherships.
Right, right. So can you describe what the main building in Sirius looks like? I'm just curious.
Yes, of course. If we were to look at it with your own eyes, there is no landscape nor technology in your Earth that would make something similar. But if you were able to construct a dome that is completely rounded and squeeze the dome at the bottom so the top is rounded and the circle is less wide than a perfect dome style, so it would be a cylindrical style with a domed top. There are 14 of those versions of towers that are connected together. The tallest is one that, in your approximation, would be 430 stories, approximately. The others go down in size, pending one to another, the tallest being approximately of that 320 stories and relating to the smallest, which were approximately 125 stories. So this area is approximately the size of each of those. And in the center, where all of those co-created buildings come together, there is an actualized dome in the very center where all things meet. And in that center is the place where all beings would come into the council and to speak to one another. The construct of what you call flooring would appear to be a substance that is not ever seen by human eyes, but would carry a very shiny resemblance to the construct of pure silver, white gold, or platinum in your metallic understanding, but carries a form of what perhaps you may think of as a very solid metallic, or fluid version. If you were to look at it, you would believe that your hand could be dipped into the floor, but when you touch it with your hand or foot, it becomes extraordinarily solid. All of the seating is different for each department, knowing that each race has different size, different frames. For example, there are dozens of races in the Syrian co-created collective. There are 12 races that inhabit Arcturian co-created collective. Some of them are very small, 3 foot or in the proximity of 3 foot tall. Others are 12 foot in height, from those that are the AI or robotic humanoid versions. So all of the seating is different, and they utilize seating next to one another in each co-created collective. An example for the Arcturian energy, 12 separate areas for the 12 races and all beings approximately in the same quadrant, while moving to Syrian beings, Pleiadian beings, all having multiple dozens of different races and accordingly different seating sizes, styles, and varieties. All of these chairs can be as simple as stone that is set into the ground, all the way to those that are hovering, that are non gravitational in nature, what you would consider 0 point energies for the seatings, filled with what you would perhaps call control centers and electrical technology in order to do various things, bring drinks, bring liquid metallic metal energy for the eating or sustenance, or even to rectify and bring foods of different varieties. So it is literally so vast and so different from one chair to the next and from one compartment to the next that it is truly a co-created collective energy of multiple different single branches or beings.
Cool. It sounds like a really impressive site. Um,
Yes, of course.
okay. Another thing I'm wondering about. The Star Trek franchise has a united federation of planets, which seems to me to be somewhat similar to the Galactic Federation. Do you know if the creator of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry, channeled this idea from members of the Federation, like some people believe?
Yes, of course. The entity did, in fact, in sleep state and in awakened state, channel in the energy of how some of those constructs are built. Of course, as you understand, it is not exactly as any one federation or alliance is, but it is very similar to the constructs of high third density, low fourth density beings, beings who are just starting the spacefaring part of their own experience and just starting to meet other races. But yes, this being did in fact co-create with a higher self and channeled from multiple magnitudes of different energies.
Cool. Very interesting.